Hello everybody, welcome to our first featured car for the Outlaw economy. We have a 2015, my personal 2015 Cayenne diesel, heavily modified. And that's what I'm going to go over right now is all the modifications from Eurowise to eMotion to the lights by Baja Designs. You name it, I've done it. So one we're looking at now is my actual fourth Cayenne. I owned a few previous generations, the 957, an S, and a Turbo S. Yes, you heard me right, a Turbo S. Those were heavily off-road focused. This is my daily. So yes, it does have 17-inch wheels by Braid with some Falcon Wild Peak tires on there. They are perfectly fit over those fairly large rotors thanks to Joey, Diego, and Kate at eMotion Engineering. They helped me size these up and fit them properly to make sure they will fit over those big brake calipers. Moving towards the front, we have 2024 style headlights. I'm going to go ahead and turn those on so you can see the DRLs, the daytime running lights. I also have some fog lights down below that have a daylight running option for that. So as mentioned, we have a bunch of lights up front. Where I live does not have any sort of street lights, so early in the morning or late at night, it does help to run the fog lights as well as the Baja Designs LP6 and LP4 up front. I have those mated to a trigger controller up here near the fuse box under the hood. Let's see here. So originally the vehicle was white.
Wait a minute.
I'm not a white kind of guy. That sounds So originally the car was painted white. As you can tell, this is a satin black, so has a satin black wrap. I found out the hard way that road trips and off-road do not treat wraps very well. So this is a Nozatex satin perfect white, or I think that's what it's called, satin perfect white. The second version of it. So the first version got torn to bits. You could see the white showing through because of the road trips and off-road that I did. This has a stealth PPF thanks to my friends Ray and Ben over at Supreme Finishes in Cleveland, Ohio. So not only does it have the wrap, but it also has PPF, a satin PPF over the top. I also have turned the side markers into yellow, so I have a yellow wrap on top of that. And then moving over towards one of the biggest and most expensive modifications of my build, we're looking at a full carbon fiber snorkel from eMotion Engineering and Son of Cobra. They know what they're doing when it comes to Porsches in general. But once they stepped into the Overland area with their Cayennes, they decided that we needed to go underwater a little bit more. So this is routed directly to the airbox through the front wheel well, and it adds quite a bit of noise. And you'll hear that a little bit later when we do driving in the diesel, as I call it. We have a little bit of other modifications going on. So up top, we have a Eurowise roof rack. Quite a bit of work went into installing that. My car luckily had OEM roof rails, so I didn't have to drill into the roof, but I did have to drop the headliner in order to install that. We have some MaxTrax boards all the way up top, 4 of them, to level off your vehicle if you decide to tent, rooftop tent camp. And then moving further towards the back, I removed the lower valence where the exhaust typically would be. We have a few scars here and there from not mall crawling, from off-roading. And then rigged off-road or rigid off-road. I'm not sure exactly how you say that. We'll have to look that up later. Is it rigged or rigid? So I have the rigged off-road tire swing carrier, along with a few other things. I decided to get their cutting board and their fold-out tray. So pretty sweet for any sort of setup you can think of if you need to go camping. And to push it one step further, again, thanks to the guys at Emotion, guys and ladies at Emotion, I have the Goose Gear trunk container / organizer, where I have access to plenty of space and storage underneath. And then taking it even one step further, I have a Dometic cooler on a Goose Gear slider, which also has another cutting board. So we have the works when it comes to overlanding and daily driving. So when I say this is my daily, this is my daily. I get about 25 to 30 miles per gallon. It would be quite a bit better if I didn't have the roof rack on there. But it's the perfect mix of being able to go off-road and needing a car to do whatever you would like. So yeah. So once again, friends over at Emotion helped us out with the lift. Ended up getting the 1.5 inch-ish lift, and those go on top of the OEM coilovers. So it's lifted about 1.5 inches all the way around. It's just enough lift where you're not messing with the OEM CV axle angle. So it's not going to be out of spec for any sort of extreme angles like you see people doing with the older 957s. They'll do a 3-inch lift and then they wonder every 30 to 40,000 miles why they have to replace their axles. It's because that CV angle is way too extreme, way too extreme. And that's where it comes in, where I have a little bit more clearance, but not so much where I'm losing my daily drivability, the way Porsche has meant for it to drive. So we have a little bit of lift on there. I also have a modification to my exhaust. So the suitcase exhaust, it's a giant, how would you explain it? It's commonly referred to as a suitcase exhaust, is deleted. So from about mid-car back, there is no noise reduction, but because it is a turbo diesel, there isn't that much noise from the exhaust itself. You can almost hear the intake quite a bit more than the exhaust due to the snorkel nowadays. So moving towards the inside, like I said, this is my daily. So when I'm looking at daily comforts, I actually went the step further and replaced my regular seats with sports seats. So those are 18-way heated and cooled sports seats. I also went ahead, did an Alcantara steering wheel. I have Apple CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay in there. And one of my favorite modifications is the compass where the sports chrono would be. And that shows elevation as well as exact degrees of your compass. One of the coolest modifications I think you can ever get. A couple other things too that I neglected to hit on. So because of the spare tire carrier in the back, it covers up where your reverse camera would be. So I have rerouted a reverse rear view mirror to a camera right below my spare tire carrier. So if you look here, this is routed all the way to the front where the rear view mirror is. And we're gonna show you that. So modern, nowadays, some cars and trucks have the option to have a rear view digital mirror. That's exactly what I did here, where I've also mounted my Valentine 1 Gen 2 radar detector. So now we're gonna take you on a drive so you can hear that beautiful snorkel as well as a turbo diesel, and we're gonna get some rolling shots now. All right, let's do it.
It hurts me that I feel so out of place, heavy weight. I can be there any longer.